Welcome back, everybody, to the Breakthrough Moment podcast. Zac Deane here with special guest and good friend Alex Echols. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's been a little while since I know we've seen each other's faces. We've been doing a lot more chatting recently, but just grateful to be here. Grateful to just be back in each other's auras and space together.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time. For those who don't know, Alex and I connected over 10 years ago. We met amongst the network marketing community of Isogenics. And through the internet and staying connected, it's amazing that we can reconnect now, so many years later. I was so close to seeing you over in Miami, but I was over in Florida. But yeah, I'm really excited to interview you. I want to quickly intro you and then let's dive into your breakthrough moment, hey? So, for those of you who don't know Alex, he's a visionary entrepreneur, creator, and holistic leader whose journey is grounded in the values of freedom, creativity, and personal growth. Emerging from humble beginnings in the south side of Chicago, Alex has built a remarkable life that blends success, corporate America, Hollywood studios, and building multiple six and seven figure companies with the passion now for helping others create meaningful, free, and aligned lives. I also know that been through an incredible health journey. You've beat stage 4 cancer. I'd love you to share that at some point as well. And now you've evolved, so to speak, to be working with the Kangen Enagic company, incredible network marketing company around filtered water and hydrogen. And so, yeah, welcome everybody to the podcast. For those of you who don't know the podcast, it's all around sharing successful entrepreneurs' pivotal moment in their career that took them and broke them into the next level of success. And as they share their breakthroughs, us at home can have breakthroughs as well. All right, that was a mouthful. Good to see you. Over
Same
to
here,
you.
man. I was like, should we get this party started? So I'm curious, like, what do you want me to dive into first? Because here's the
Yeah,
thing that I want to make sure is that we make this as valuable as the people who are going to be listening and watching
for
this
sure.
podcast.
So I'd love to know, you've been through so many different experiences, parts of the world, different companies, business models, ups and downs. Out of all of those experiences, what would you say is the number one biggest breakthrough moment you've had, specifically in business? And we can
Mm.
also share other breakthrough moments. What would be one of those moments in business where you maybe had a breakdown and then a massive breakthrough? Take us on that journey.
So I think that I've had a lot of different pivotal moments because I've had a lot of different businesses and business models that some have been utter failures and then some have been great successes. I've been online, I've been in the business space for over a decade now, probably like 13, 14 years. At this point, I've lost track. I'm not even counting anymore, like the badge of honor that I used to wear at some point. But I will say that in this current space, in this current reality and era that I'm in right now, I've had one of the biggest breakthroughs, not only from the perspective of business, but when it comes to momentum for business, for life, for all the different parts of how I show up and all the different roles that I play in life. But also, I think that this is something that would be beneficial to those who are listening, which is there's a huge, huge difference between movement and momentum. And when you first hear it, it feels and sounds a little bit black and white. It feels a little easy to get. It feels a little cryptic. It's a very complex thing to think about, but also it seems very basic, right? But here's the way that I'd like to posit it. When we think about movement, right? A lot of times people are just thinking like, "Oh, I got to get moving. Oh, it doesn't matter if my tactics and my strategies are correct. As long as I'm moving, as long as I'm just keeping at it, then something's going to break through. Something's going to work, right?" And something that I've been recently realizing for myself that led to this, what I would say for business, but in life, this profound awakening is the difference between movement and momentum is this. If you're moving, you could be just going in circles over and over and over again. As they say, like the dog, like chasing its tail, right? It seems, especially if somebody's a brand new beginner, especially if somebody doesn't have a lot of experience, a lot of time that they've put into it, sweat equity, blood equity, all the different equities, right? Going around in circles can seem like movement, but what you'll see once you finally have that experience enough to look back is you'll have that recognition that, ah. Yeah, maybe I did learn a little bit here, but I actually did not move. I did not move from this position that I'm at in that much, right? Whereas when we think about momentum, the way that I like to think of momentum and the way I like to visualize it is think of like how the snowball effect works or happens, or think about like how an avalanche starts, right? It's not this massive avalanche from the very beginning that just goes crashing down all the way down the mountain. It starts with one little piece of snow that then hits a little bit bigger piece of a snow, and then from there begins to do a snowball effect into what we know as an avalanche. And for me, I think that's one of the key differences between you could tell when somebody has been in the game of entrepreneurship and business building and business doing, right, for a long time versus someone who is very much at the beginning. And if somebody is listening to this that is at the very beginning, I want to offer to you to try to figure out what's the key difference between movement and momentum, and how does that really show up and look in my own business? How does that look and show up in my own life? Because if you can figure out, let's just put one out there, right? Let's say that somebody is trying to get fitter. They're trying to lose a little bit of weight, right? What would we say looks like movement? What looks like movement is probably you're still eating a pretty poor diet and you're only going to the gym or you're only going for walks 2 days a week, right? You're doing something, but you're probably just going to be going in a circle. Whereas momentum is, all right, absolutely love reddit.com. I go on there. If I find something that I'm interested in, then I'll go and I'll add myself to one of the communities. And Reddit is it's a social platform of various communities and different niches that people are interested in. And let's say that for me, I want to go into the bodybuilding Reddit page, or like the eating or the food or the diet, right? I'm starting to research, I'm starting to see, oh, it's not just in the gym that changes my physical figure. It's also in my dieting and what I choose to eat and what I choose not to eat. Oh, it's actually a lot to do with my mind and how I am able to visualize, but also how I'm able to see myself in this moment as well. Right? So you start seeing all these nuances. So you've improved your eating, you've improved your mental state, and you also are starting to go to the gym a little bit more as well. That's the difference between movement and momentum. Because what you've done is you put yourself in a much more like fruitful, but also fertile position for you to actually be able to expand, for you to be able to amplify yourself from that initial spot, right?
100%. And that's what we all want. And there's a big difference between knowing what gets you into momentum. Because if someone's never been healthy or fit or successful or done the things that create these amazing results, how do we know what to do? And so most of the time we go, oh, we'll just do a little bit, or just like my, I guess, maximum might be someone else's bare minimum,
Hmm.
And then that's why it's spinning in circles, spinning in circles. And so what you're saying is getting into momentum, you have to be out of the box. You really have to go above and beyond your current thinking. Otherwise, you're going to stay in the same spot.
Correct. Or what is so much easier these days as well, right? I said Reddit. Reddit is like an online social media platform of thousands and thousands and thousands of communities based on a specific interest or topic that people may be interested in, right? But then there's also the in-person communities that exist as well. So yes, it does require us to be able to think outside the box or to be able to see something greater for ourselves that we want to be able to move into, which as if we're talking about business momentum, hopefully someone knows that they're building a business. They know why they're building the business, right? They know that they want to be able to create more space in their life so they can spend more time with their kids or with their partner. They know that they want to be able to have more freedom and have more financial resources to be able to do whatever the heck they want whenever they want, right? So hopefully there is a why that exists that allows somebody to be able to think outside that box. If not, then that's probably very much step one. And the thing that I was going to say is, yes, sure, there's the online communities like Reddit, but there's always that's the importance of always being in the rooms where you're not the smartest person, right? You're not the most experienced person. You're not the most successful person. Because when you're in a room like that, you're probably just always going to stay stagnant versus being in a room or being in a space, a mastermind, a container, whatever it may look like. If you are in that type of space and you have a lot to learn, you have a lot to grow, being around those type of people, they will do nothing but help to lift you up because they have already walked those paths and walked those steps that you are intending to walk.
Love it. And how did you have this realization or aha moment? What was the moment that gave you this realization?
Um, For me recently, the thing that gave me this huge realization of the difference between momentum and movement is me observing myself, right? About 6 to 7 months ago, one of my startups, due to the implications of AI and everything that's coming along, we lost about 90% of our revenue virtually overnight. It was really over a span of a few weeks, but in the space of business, that's pretty quickly, right?
Right.
Especially when you have years of the business model, of the relationships, of all of that working the way that you are excited and happy that it's working. So for me, it was really in that space of me trying to make a decision of pivoting out, really trying to, rescue the contracts, all of that, where I started to realize and ask myself, okay, do I want to stay in this space and really feel like I'm chasing my tail by trying to force something to work? Or do I want to, as you said, Zach, earlier, try to get outside of my box, try to get outside of my attachments to how business has been working for me over the last few months, over the last years or so? And do I want to ask different questions? And so by me asking different questions, that led to different answers, right? By me asking different questions, that led to different processes of me being able to just be in a state of allowing. And I don't know how many people believe in that type of stuff as well, right? But I think that business in itself gets to be one of the most profound personal development, personal growth journeys on planet Earth, right? And it was me just opening myself up to, okay, if this is what it is, and I feel like I've really given it my all to try to rescue these contracts so I can keep moving forward this way, what can I now do? And I allowed myself to be held by life and to figure it out. And that pivot allowed me to now be getting so much more focused and back into our Enagic business and just having that so clear, and now we have what we call momentum building, but it started with that one piece of snow, like I said earlier, that one decision, that one sort of moment where I started to just open myself up, that one question.
Powerful, powerful. I'm curious what advice you might have for other entrepreneurs who are facing a similar challenge with AI shifting their possible service or product and taking 90% of the revenue away, that's or profit away in such a short period of time. Do you have any advice for some of these entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so I would go down two paths for this. One, it's very much like the Industrial Revolution. It's very much like all the revolutions of time that our forefathers and our ancestors had to get through, right? When we think about agricultural moving into the Industrial Revolution, it's the same thing that's happening right now with the AI revolution that's going on. And those who try to fight, those who try to put their hands up and act like what's about to happen and what is happening is not going to happen, are they going to be able to stop it? At the end of the day, you're probably fooling yourself, right? For me to think that AI is not going to cannibalize more jobs, for me to think that AI is not going to continue to do different parts of my work, which I'll gladly sign up for, is the same thing for farmers hundreds of years ago thinking to themselves, I'm forever going to be a farmer. No, we either have to learn how to adapt or we die. And when I say die, our business may die, over 90% of my revenue, multi six figures per annum, lost overnight. So that would be my very first thing, which is it's important for us to face facts of what is happening. But on the flip side of that as well, AI is here just as any tool that has come throughout history. It is here for us to leverage and use it as well, right? So if you are somebody who is a good writer with AI, you get to become a great writer. If you are somebody who is a good content creator with AI, you get to become a phenomenal content creator. So what I would really, really highly suggest and encourage people to do is for them to go back to their why and for them to go back to this sort of opening up themselves to the question of what am I good at naturally or what am I pretty skilled at? And then begin to envision for yourself, but also begin to start looking for the tools that are driven by AI that can help you amplify those things that you're already incredible at. But then there's a little bit of an additional splash there, which is this. You have all the things that you're amplified in now, then all the things that you're not good in. If you wanted to, you can get AI to do all that as well, right? So when it comes to AI, for those who are a bit apprehensive, for those who may be fearful, for those who may be anti AI, the thing that I want to offer is this: it's just like a hammer. It comes down to the person that's holding that hammer. If you know that all you want to do is nail something into a foundation so you can create a house, then that's the same exact thing that you get to do with AI and all the tools that exist. Now, for some people, they take a hammer and they want to destroy the home. They want to destroy the glass. They want to destroy all these things. But this is where we get to decide how we're going to choose to leverage this tool, this magnificent tool for what it is, especially at the same time that it is going to be taking a lot from certain parts and certain components of our life as well. So that's one big side, Zach, that I like to offer. The other side is find leverage, right? Like AI is one version of leverage that can exist. You believing in, let's say, higher consciousness, God, whatever it may be, right? Something outside of yourself. That is a form of leverage, right? That because even when the time gets tough and you want to throw in the towel, you want to, go lay out on the couch and not wake up and whatever it may be, right? You believing in that higher power allows you to be leveraged outside of yourself so that you have the spirit and you have the continuation to keep moving forward, right? Those are two different, complete different types of leverage. Gratitude is another type of leverage in those moments when things are very challenging. Other leverages that include is you being able to, if you are, let's say somebody is great at coaching. Let's say that somebody is great at direct sales, right? There's tools online where you could literally go and have a subscription based model of a mini course that you can create, and as long as you have that in front of people and eyeballs are there, you can continue to make money from that. So that's another way of using technology as leverage to help you to make sure that you always have something that is looking out for you, even when in the moment things may get tough for you specifically.
Well said. Absolutely. I'm curious, what are some of your favorite AI tools at the moment? What are you using?
ChatGPT definitely is the easiest for me to go to because I've been a writer for a long time, like published author since I was 12, 13 years old. So for me, ChatGPT just very much helps me to take a lot of the ideas that are always coming to me. Very fountainous in nature with that. And it allows me to go deeper and deeper into them, right? And to analyze them and to dissect them and to look at certain nuances that I may not have necessarily have been able to figure out so quickly for myself. So I would say ChatGPT is definitely one of the best. And when you think about it, it costs $20 a month, and you literally get to create a writer, social media manager, a thinking coach, like whatever you could possibly think of. $20 a month to be able to give you that type of leverage in your life, I think is absolutely fantastic. I've always been an artist and a creator and one of those sort of visionary type of minds as well. So Mid-Journey is another great one. I'm starting to dive into Clean, which takes the Mid-Journey images that you may be able to create for yourself and actually bring them to life. What I will say is that not too long before today's call, I was reading one of my daily newsletters that I get from either private containers that I'm in or free newsletters, right? And Sam Altman, who is the founder or one of the founders, let's call it, of OpenAI, which went on to make ChatGPT, has recently stated that we are now in the space within the next few years where there will probably be a one person $1 billion unicorn company, all because they're able to leverage the different tools of AI within their business ecosystem, right? And ChatGPT's and OpenAI's, their biggest direct competitor, or one of the biggest direct competitors, Anthropic, the CEO Dario also went on record saying that he probably thinks it's going to happen in less than 12 months. Right? So, what does this tell us? This tells us that while AI may continue to cannibalize a lot of what we think we know about reality, there is so much of an opportunity for us to be looking out for at the same time. And this can be used in our business life, this can be used in our personal life, our emotional life, our physical health life, whatever you can think about. However, you can visualize and think for yourself. There is an AI tool that can probably help you to amplify who you are in that space.
And if there isn't, go out there and make it and be that next $1 billion company, right? Gosh, it's all
Exactly.
on the table. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
And
That's
give Zach and I some opportunity to get equity in the company for giving
that's
you the
right.
idea.
So I'm curious, as a creative, I really like that. So you started writing when you were 13?
Writing for younger than that, first published at I was in seventh grade, 12 or 13. I don't remember. 12, I would have been in seventh grade.
Wow, what was your book about?
It was a, what do you call it, anthology or multi-authored book. This was a book. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I had an opportunity that was actually given to me by my seventh grade teacher. And it was given to everybody, but only a certain group of children or students throughout the entire city of Chicago were selected. And I think that there was anywhere between 11 and 20 authors overall, and we all wrote that led to this giant book that was all about our experience growing up on the south side of Chicago. And very much like this podcast, but for somebody in the seventh grade, what's your biggest breakthrough that you've had right now as a, seventh grader, a 12-year-old? And what's your vision for the future? And what have been some of the biggest things that have been helpful for you? What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced? Essentially, that just released, I don't know, what, like 20 years ago? Long time ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And and so how did that evolve? And did that shift your mindset? Did that like, a lot of people say they're not good at writing, or I want to write a book, but I can't write a book because I don't have enough time, or I'm not good at this. Do you have any advice for someone out there who's like got that story or has that creative spark and they want to share, but they don't know how to do it?
If you don't know how to do it, and if you're doubting yourself, it's important to get yourself around people who will be able to be your greatest mirror, and to be able to see what you're great at, what you're gifted at, and what you're talented at. Luckily for me, when it comes to writing specifically, my mom was always there saying, "You're a great writer. You're probably going to be an author one day," right? And those little seeds over time turned into roots under the ground, which turned into bloomings above earth as well, because I had that at 12 years old, or 12 years old, seventh grade. And then I released another book in 2015, which I was thinking about it this morning or yesterday. Like, wow, that book that I wrote, I co-authored, called The 2 Week Notice. I wrote that thing 10 years ago. And I've been really having it in my heart and and in my spirit as well that it's time to write another book. So, what I would recommend for anyone is the this truth of the matter, which is you have a very defined amount of time on this planet. So if you have this inkling that says, "Oh, I would really like to write," or you have this inkling of, I would really like to explore this thing that excites me in some way," take your opportunity and take your chance doing that, because truthfully, we don't know when we're going to exit the planet, right? We don't know when it's going to be our last day on Earth. So, from more of a black and white perspective, I think that that's a great piece of advice. From more of a strategic perspective, I think that it's important to get yourself in rooms. And when I say rooms, they could be physical rooms, or after you watch and listen to this podcast, you can go searching writing groups in my city, writing groups in my area. And that could be your first step or your second step. So there's many different ways, many different options for people. It really depends on how they want to move forward. The and most important thing is to actually take those steps forward.
Great advice. Environment, practice. If you want to be good at writing, write. If you want to be good at presenting, present. If you want to do
Exactly.
podcasting, you just do it. So let's flip a gear. I'd love to know how you, with so much experience in traditional business and network marketing and AI and writing, how do you how do you see network marketing right now? What made you choose Enagic, and what is it about the business model that is of value and different to the other business models that you've done, or maybe you've got multiple businesses too. So, what is it about the network marketing model, and why Enagic?
So we're about to go there, because here's what I firmly believe, or what I personally believe. I don't know much about any other company in the space, and that is done by design, because I personally think and believe that network marketing, MLM, whatever the different labels that people put on it, I think that it reduces it so much to grains of salt sometimes, when it's much bigger than that, right? And especially with the company that I work with, Enagic. Enagic's been around for over 50 years. It has in-home Japanese medical grade devices. It has a patent and compensation plan. So for me, that's the big reason why I choose to work with Enagic, not necessarily the network marketing space, because I often tell this to our leaders on our team and throughout our organization. I probably will never consider myself a network marketer. I probably will never consider myself a direct salesman. I definitely will never consider myself to be an MLMer. Why? Because through my entire experience in business, it's always about finding product market fit. Simple as that, right? So when I began to see Enagic, and specifically the Kangen water machines that they produce, when I was going through my cancer journey, and I went from having cancer into remission, then that's when I first started drinking the water. So it's already a completely new level for me. It's not just a business model for me, it's a health model that I've been integrating, and I've had integrated into my life for, I don't know, 7+ years now, right? So going back to the importance of product market fit, right? I probably would never consider myself to be a network marketer, because what I recognize is Enagic has world-class products on one side. One side. On the other side, there is people who have the desire to improve their health. There are people who have desire to earn more income. For some people, they want to leave their 9 to 5. For other people, they want to plot their exit plan. For other people, they want to create massive wealth for themselves, right? And Magic is able to create and have both of those. So what I do is I have a world class solution over here. The people who want something of those multiple sources that I just said are over here. I get to play the middleman, just like Uber, just like Airbnb, just like, what's another one? Etsy, like all of these marketplaces online that play the middleman, that create the connection between a product, an outstanding product to offer, with people who are looking for it. And I just sit back and I get excited about the money that comes in from that perspective. But I sit back and I get excited about the lives that are changed, because I'm helping people to improve their health, because I'm helping people to improve their bank account. So for me, I you're starting to see this. I don't know if it's happening throughout the entire space. I know for sure it's happening in Enagic. You're starting to have a lot more seasoned vets and entrepreneurs entering into this space because they see it just like I see it. Product market fit. It's been around for 50 years. Let's do this, like that type of thing. So, um, did I answer your question? Because I very much went
Absolutely.
on a rant there. I got excited.
Get excited, bro. Get excited. That's what it's about. So I really like how you broke that down for sure. That's a flippin' awesome way to look at it. Do you have any advice for, say, someone new to network marketing? What to look for in their in a well, not just to what to look for, but how to start their business. How do they go? Okay, well, they want to join you. It's like, what do they do? How do you set them up for success? How do you help them start earning those few $1,000s to build their confidence and help them kickstart their journey?
Yeah, well, I think there's two parts to this, right? Because they are partnering with me, but then they are also partnering with the company, right? And I want to make sure that I'm being in for this question a little bit more unbiased, which is they need to do the research on the company if they're interested, right? So I'll just say Enagic, like I said, over 5 decades long. You want to see what's the track record, how long they've been around, like what's the compensation plan. You want to make sure that all of the different components of the actual company is in alignment with what you're looking for and that has some sort of connection to your vision that you're setting for yourself, right? That's when you're thinking about the partnership with the company. When you're thinking about the partnership with the person or with the team or with the leaders, it's based on vibes at the end of the day, right? That's the beautiful thing about this type of business model as well. People who are going to resonate with me for who I am, how I show up, my leadership, my experience with the business is very different from somebody that else that you may find on social media, Instagram or something like that, right? And then it's only from then and there do we actually get into the conversation of, well, how can I actually be of any type of success in this business? We'll go back to what I said earlier, product market fit. So we know on a more general scale that there's a lot of companies that have world-class products, right? And then there is multi-epidemics that are happening throughout the world. There are people who are looking to get healthier. There are people who are losing their jobs every single day because of AI, because of layoffs, because of budget cuts, like all of that different type of stuff, right? If you want to play the middleman, the next step for that is to figure out what's the specific middleman that you can play that will allow you to speak very, very clearly to the person that you would like to do business with, or the person that you would like to do have a partnership with in a business like this, right? Because once again, the person that I am going to speak to, the person that I'm going to attract to, aka my target avatar, is going to be very different from a woman who is 25 years old but has a kid, lives in Idaho in the middle of America, and it lives on a farm, right? Very, very drastic different avatars. And so, therefore, what's important is to be able to know what are the nuances for how to connect with this person or how to say things in a certain way that will actually attract them to this offer or this opportunity or this thing that I would like to put in front of them. So that's a huge point is figuring out specifically what is your product market fit, meaning do you know who you're speaking to? Who is your target avatar? And then from there, do you know your messaging? Do you have it precise? Do you have it down? These are the types of things that we take our people through, right? So it's one of the reasons why they get to see success for themselves as well. Um, and then from there is continue on and making sure that they've actually signed up and chosen to partner with somebody that will be there in their corner and be there for them when it gets tough because business is tough at the end of the day. They'll be there in the corner with them when things are going on or where they just need a little bit of a pep talk to keep moving forward.
Nice. Great advice. Great advice. Oh, we've covered some awesome ground here, man. Thank you so much for sharing all your pearls of wisdom. What do you think would be the main message you'd like people to take home with them today from what you've shared?
Hmm. Main message that I would love for people to take home if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, If there was anything that interested you, if there was anything that was sparked your curiosity, anything whatsoever throughout this entire 35 minutes that we've been going back and forth and having a beautiful conversation today, do something with it. Take that next step, follow it, give to yourself in one way or another. Just don't stay and don't allow yourself to be stagnant, because the reason that we are alive as human beings in the first place is to enjoy these human bodies that we're in and to do actions with them. So, whatever it may be for you, listen up, listen to this podcast again if you need to. Look for that one thing that stood out for you the most and then do something with it so that it can actually be of any benefit and value to your own life.
I love it. I love it. There's something that you're really sharing here, which is whether it's just in this moment, doing you and taking action, utilizing what it is that our body's capable to do, taking action on business or a health thing or a family thing, whatever that is, it's coming back to authenticity. And they did this study, and it was like they put these people in a Faraday cage and they asked them all these questions and they shared all these stories and emotions. And it wasn't love that was the highest emotion. Apparently, it was authenticity. And so, what you're
Mm,
saying is get into that state, whatever that means to you, whether it's business, whether it's getting into momentum in a health, getting your health back on track, or network marketing, or AI, right? Or the writing and the creativity, checking back in with your why to become back into alignment with that authenticity and express from
mhm,
that point. And so
mhm.
I resonate with that so much. It's so great. I love this industry of network marketing, and I also don't really like this industry of network marketing. But the great thing about it is the community and the people that you meet
Exactly.
long term. And 10 years ago, we saw each other at a Wellness Wednesday in Sydney and Crown Street and Surrey Hills or wherever it was, and it's been a journey so far.
Yeah.
If you could challenge everybody, a challenge today to take action on, a challenge next week, this month, this year, what would be a challenge you'd want to
Mm,
impart for everyone?
mm. Man, that one put me on the spot. One challenge, if I could offer it to people. Dang, bro. Because there's a lot of different things that are coming up for me right now that I'm thinking about. Mm. I would say this. Here's my challenge. And my challenge goes for 1 year. No, my challenge goes for 1 month, 1 year, and then, yeah, 1 month and 1 year. And I want to invite everybody to write this down. Within 1 month, I would have liked to dot, dot, dot. Whether it's accomplished, whether it's walked, whether it's tried, whether it's done, whatever that may be for you, right? Like, so for instance, for me, within 1 month, I would have liked to have my first $1 million month, right? Pretty solid one. But then what happens? I have to do all of the things that are in my power in order to actually walk towards that and in order to actually make it true. And then for somebody like me, leveraging the higher power, whatever that may look like, making sure that I also know that it's never just me who's doing it all, right? So you can do that for 1 month, but I also want to encourage you to think a little bit bigger, think a little bit grander. What does that look like for you in 1 year? In 1 year, I would have liked to dot 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 achieved, done, walked, made, seen, whatever that may look like. And make sure that it is something that you've actually given yourself time to consider. Because as I mentioned earlier, we're here for a very finite amount of time. We think we have time, but there's this quote. We think we have time, but we really don't. You know what I mean? And I think that that's such a beautiful reminder for us all to be able to begin to close today out, which is if there's something that's been brewing within you, it's not done by accident. Follow it, listen to it, and keep moving forward with it.
Listen to it, keep moving forward. This is awesome. How can people get in touch with you?
You can follow me on Instagram, probably the best place. Hey, Alex Echols. I don't know if you want to drop it like somewhere for them to see it in the show notes or something like that. But hey, Alex Echols, and easy peasy, I'll be there. You can hit me up.
So good, everyone. Connect with Alex. I'll put the link around here somewhere. Brother, thank you so much for sharing your breakthroughs, the challenges, being so vulnerable. Wanted to celebrate you and acknowledge you for continuing this journey of life,
Mm.
irrespective of the big challenges you've been through. And I appreciate you sharing this knowledge today. The wish is that you guys at home listening take this information, utilize it, connect with Alex online, reach out if you have any more questions, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thanks, Alex.
Appreciate you. Thank you, bro. Enjoy, everyone. Peace.